아니 셰베 되는데 아니 야나 야도 삼로다네 이 가서도 다가져죠 소수도 비시라게 근데 그 셰라게 마도 째네 다디 딱 예반이 되는데 아니 가서 다가져죠 아니 저 조금 째 수다 게데 미토왔는데 난 조금 자 소수도 비시라게 조금 빼말 째라 아니 가서 저주 튠점 훈남 소사 지다 자원에 아니 기부 중을 가서 셔봐 자고
So we begin where we left off last time, and this was the outline C on page 380, where it says under that chapter, Uniting Insight and Serenity. And it is the summary of the key points for sustaining insight and serenity. And so here it begins that as was explained previously in relation to reflecting on what has definitive meaning with regards to self and mine, or I and mine, and being able to see that they are reaching a point of conclusion, really determination, that of their lack of intrinsic existence, in the basis in relation to which conception and of I and mine arise. So here, in terms of both selflessness of persons and selflessness of phenomena, we reach this kind of ascertainment. We have a surety that they have no intrinsic or lack any intrinsic existence. And so here, then once we have reached that point, then we use the wisdom of analytical discrimination to engage in analysis. And this is done frequently, again and again and again. And so to reach that conclusion and to bring the force of certainty to bear on that conclusion. And so it's very important that we are able to do this, and this is enabled by the application of both the meditative serenity and the meditative insight that has also been explained previously. In other words, that you have this stabilization meditation focused on the object without the mind scattering and being distracted. And then you have extensive analysis through the wisdom of discrimination. And so you alternate these two. And then you engage in the session in terms of the preparation of that session, the conclusion, and what to do between sessions, as was explained at that point in the text dealing with the being of smaller capacity. And as again I was saying also, with regard to the what drives the analytical is the process of learning, wisdom arising from learning, from analytical meditation itself, and from the wisdom arising from meditation, that triple process of learning, of analysis, and of meditation.
각자들이 야구 하고 있지. 여봐 그디 위대는 두바이나 아니지 속도 비교해 되겠지. 왔다 된대지. 안 된대 속도 비교하다면 아니 제바지한테 아니 딱가 제바지한테 다 니금도 와. 나는 뒷만이 받아 동니를 왜라나? 뒷만이 받아 동니 말이. 이 많이 받아 돈이 말이야. 다 많이 받아 가서나 다 간자지. 다 동반이 쓰다 다 각자 각점 각자 가서 다 가자 가서 다 간자지. 다 유대네 다 가서 유대네 주바 중세장 매바티. 유대네 주바 중세장 매바티 동반이 있어요. 다 이내 먼저 돈이 고마운데 쟤는 많이 받 다른 걸 셈샤도 아니 셈샤도 아니 대가서다 다 가자 지금 가서나 나라도 그 검시도 숙청부 시우쳐도 유대는 좀 나가다도现在다 가자 제대로도 왔다 가서 현당한테 근데 생기도 유대는 좀 생기도 왔다 세마에 도면도 많이 받다 가는 걸 셈샤도 또 먼저 검색해요. 어떻게 참
So that we've gone through quite a lot of looking at different viewpoints, and that when we go through the great texts in this way, it's very easy to get confused, isn't it? Very easy to get mixed up. But the most important thing, as I have been saying as usual, that it's so important to clearly identify, recognize what is known as the object of negation with regard to this meditation on emptiness. And so here it's kind of saying the object of negation is this sense of independent or objective existence as something that can actually be pointed out, and then it's through analysis looking for this that which should be obvious and not finding it. Now just the mere not finding it is not if we said is that emptiness? No, that is not emptiness. Emptiness is the mere negation of the object of negation. Now the object here is to be seen as not in the least in any way, even at the atomical level, established, that is objectively or intrinsically or truly for that matter, and that here it's something that it appears to be the way it appears to us. We apprehend it to exist in the way it appears, and that appearance is that it is something that really stands out there, that it is objectively existent. We search for that, therefore, that which should be found. We don't find it, and it's then this placing the mind in fixed meditation on just that not finding, just the mere absence of the object of negation. And that is in the context of knowing how we apprehend reality to exist in a way in which it does not exist at all, and that is we are strongly habituated to interpreting our reality in that way. So it's this the way the mind apprehends reality, that's the object to be negated. That's the error. And so here it is to be able to identify what that object of negation is clearly.
다 먼저 친한 거 최근에지다 먼저 낭대와도 가야 말이야. 근데 생기도 현당한테 유대는 좀 생기도 생기면도 유대는 좀 생기도나 어디 넣어지게 요래.
And so whether it's an internal or external phenomena, that how it appears, how those phenomena appear is not the issue, but how we apprehend them to appear, how we apprehend that appearance, how we cling, how we grasp, how we hold to that appearance, that it is said to we understand it to appear in a way that it doesn't appear, doesn't exist at all, and that is the problem. That is the mistake.
현당한테 거의 유대는 주바지 랑겨와지 수도도 주바지 생기도나 보다 이 시험반에서 유다 명문지 제가 지고 봐. 근데 뭐도나 다 요마르와 시험반에서 요마르와.
And so this way of apprehending reality, that the way reality appears to us, that sees or conceives phenomena to have some kind of objective, some kind of independent, some kind of out there, self-established existence, and then it's the process of searching for that. If it does exist, it should be possible to find it in that way. It should be something that actually appears to exist in the way it exists. and that analysis then determining that it is not to be found, it is not that. And so that is it's this apprehension or this conceiving of reality to exist in a certain way that is the object of negation. And so when we talk about gaining assurance or gaining a definite understanding on the basis of the texts that explain emptiness and so on, having gone through the process of learning, analysis and meditation in order to gain more certainty with regard to that. What is it that we need to gain certainty with regards? We need to gain a certainty that phenomena do not in any way exist objectively, that such a thing is non-existent, and that simultaneously with that gaining certainty with regard to that is the natural correlative to that is that therefore phenomena arise in dependence, and so dependent origination is there as well. So because phenomena lack such an existence, they therefore arise in dependence, and that understanding is crucial to gaining the full comprehension of what is referred to as emptiness, and to understand also that the notion of objective existence and the notion of dependent existence are mutually exclusive. They are diametrically opposed. That if you have one, it can't be the other way, and so on. And so when we understand that too, that mutual exclusivity between objective existence and arising independence, then we are very well protected from falling into the extremes, such as the extreme of reification or nihilism and so on. And so that's we're kind of like more guaranteed to get the middle way. And conversely speaking, when we do not have a good understanding of how these two are mutually exclusive, and perhaps also our actual analytical ability is wanting, then we can very easily fall into an extreme of reification or permanence, and an extreme of nihilism as well. And so it's seeing the understanding, the clarification and the clarity, the conviction, the ascertainment, the certainty which we have with regard to a lack of objective existence, and the way things actually are as is in rising independence, and how they are mutually exclusive, will offer us the best guarantee of avoiding the extremes.
디테일 바고요. 맞다.
And this is that, all the root of all the great texts covering this subject matter, the middle way texts, such as the root of wisdom, the great Nagarjuna, of course, and then the text by Buddhapalita, and following on from him, the great texts of Chandakirti, entering the middle way, or clear words. All of the subject matter there is in order to clarify this point, and that without them it wouldn't be possible to be able to really get the import of what was being discussed. So it's so valuable they are.
다 되는 인자 어디 고아들 합 차바이나 고아들 합사 다 녀몰라 카데 자데 셰 먹어봐 아니 뭐 이거 내서 망고지 뭐저 뭐는 제도고도 와 아니 저기 코에게 동에 되게 되는 줄라 되는 저부 용단다 왔다 아니 다가는 신게 코안에 타네 타바다 탐직제 뭐 두다 되게 딱다 지금 다 주창소나 주다 깨되게 창소나 저부도 용부 요바디 맞다 탈치버 셰도고도 와다 뛰면 받잖아 코지 이 내단데 약보지 따와된데 지금 매와이나 아니 제시 당금도 와 제시 당금도 와 다들 이마이자 배나 힌두 그 출로 나라 체가들래 체가들 군조 수여버스 다들 셰부도 체가 합 레라 되는 중앙에서 합 군조 수여 다 가서는 동반 이게 내저 다시 버지 제시 매와이나 아니 제시 다 담아를 샤부지도 와
And it's also like this, gaining a clear understanding of what we are discussing, the view, is essential, really, at any point on the path, at any juncture in our practice. We talk about opposing the mental afflictions, but also just in terms of gaining a clear view of reality, of an understanding of the reality that we're in, cyclic existence, and that the suffering nature of it, that it's and what brings about that, the causes of cyclic existence, karma and the mental afflictions, but also the causes that we can accumulate in order to attain liberation and the omniscient state of enlightenment. And that through the prism of the view, we can see the possibility, the reasonableness of the entire path. That if I am able to establish such causes, it's logical to hope that they will lead to these such results, and that there's a kind of harmony between a cause and effect in that sense. We gain a great deal more assurance with regard to that because of our understanding of the view. And so it's kind of like the difference between, for example, this kind of coherent, logical understanding within Buddhism versus other traditions, such as in some Hindu schools, where they hold that reality is half arising from karma and half arising from some deity, some god. And so within there could be a lot of difficulties in trying to explain what's going on.
제가 군조 소원을 제가 야 자산 군조 소원스네 고래 되게 요 말이야. 또 강의 제거로 야 제가 레기 대세제자 다레 주고 그 공교고요 말 가서나 그 다도 좀 kell린 거요 봐. 다도 좀 kell리도 레 주고 계셔서 다 군조 그 제발해서 다 네가 다 마셔라 하셔서 차고도.
And so like when problems arise, then there can be like some competition for how to explain them in a system where half of what occurs is considered to be the responsibility of karma, and half is the responsibility of some god idea. And so especially too when in systems that hold to an actual objectively existent self in one way or another, that where the explanation falls short in terms of karma, then one has to rely on the God idea, and when God isn't enough to explain what's going on, then you have to run towards karma, and then to get karma to explain it. So it can present its own problems, that sort of idea.
다가 투자가 다도 좀 켈리자 내가 대투도 다도 좀 켈린 거 요바 인상 안 거예요. 다 근데 말라브랑 랍치. 그래 다데 이 슈이네 가지네 코나도가 그래서 직대 제법 켈린 거도 다도 좀 켈린 거도 대투거래. 대투거래. 아도나?
And indeed, really, when we look into it, it's this establishment of some sense of self-existence, of a true existence of self, that is at the heart of kind of problematic systems. So when you talk about the Christian system or the Muslim system, and indeed, where there is a sense of a creator God, that the notion of creator God originated in the notion of how I, or self, is truly established. If we look into it, we can see how that has the origin of that notion has arisen from the fact that we think we are self-established or truly existent ourselves.
투사라. 다 된서 뭐죠? 지다음에 출루 강가를 윤대 요래 미캄도 투버 고구 요래. 이래 양 말아주고 찬사가 내다한테 신고도 와. 디신할 때는 아니 남배 따와래 편도 연구래. 되는 상계 좀 되는 따와디 우리 현담이라고 근데 줘도. 안 딜라는 제부 근데 용 투고도. 아니 녀바니를 편도 주고도 와.
And this is, of course, not to say that all all other spiritual traditions have no value. Of course, they have great value and great qualities, and indeed are very necessary in order to cater for the various dispositions of followers and of human beings. And so, but in terms of having the full picture, as it were, it's very, I think, it's very beneficial to be able to rely on the Buddhist view and to see that as something which is really an extraordinary gift from Shakyamuni Buddha, and to be able to use that, to be able to see within that the logical sequence from cause and effect, etc. It makes everything possible, in other words.
근데 이제 다다 할래 표적도 다 나중에 좀더 시에되고 되래. 아니 상게 좀더 시봐. 다 남발에 시행이 좀 돼도 같이 롭좀 제바 상게 하나 상게 좀 되다 대바 쳐도 주고도 서 내가 그 신의 대바 도와라. 나라도 총종 상게래 대바체. 아니 시바들에 그가 집에 있나무를 차대가 망부도 와. 남바인에게 망부여래. 되는 망부 가 두고도 남바인 랍 이내 다 강가 찍바서다 이내 몇 강가를 연대 요다 이내 찍바서 근데 또 가보러 와 그거 다까지 마시면 다 된 것도 와.
And so, as I have said many times, I quote from this former Hindu master Halale Pucho, who, having lost the debate and studied the Buddhist texts, later wrote that no matter how many texts from other traditions I read, it only serves to increase my appreciation of and faith in Shakyamuni Buddha, and this largely because of the view. And so it's kind of like showing that that there is something extraordinary about this view of reality as disseminated by Shakyamuni Buddha, and that it's it's nice to have faith in this. But I have heard and I've seen from my own experience, how many kind of have this idea that all the great teachers are kind of the same. They're all of the same taste, as it were. And even a lot of Buddhists I've met, they kind of go, yes, I have a lot of faith in the Buddha, but he's like, Jesus was the same, and so on and so on. And it's nice to have that appreciation, but I think it's a bit more tricky to simply conclude that they're the same, especially when you in terms of this particular idea of the view of reality. So like there is certainly an issue problem of being able to say that one who asserts the true existence of a self and the other who doesn't assert the true existence of the self are as being the same. And so, of course, I'm not saying that all great teachers have wonderful qualities. We know that, and that there are differences in terms of profundity, subtlety, and so on can be said. But in terms of this, the basis, the tsatsangwa the dawala, and so in terms of like this, the Buddha's presentation based on the view of reality. Thereafter is kind of like able to extrapolate the entire path to enlightenment based on that. And so that's something I think it's important for us to ascertain, to really determine for ourselves.
마제 춘제도 말시 신도 장바데 마제 춘제도 한도 지투바이나 되네 제금 제바디 랑도기 신자 전투바나 아 가서 한도도 주고서 한도도 주고서 다 되네 진이발라 미과다 항상 지다발라 미과 한도 니가라 자와이 뭐죠.
The fourth outline D, you will see there the measure of achieving insight through meditation. And so here is we are now meditating through analyzing the wisdom of discrimination or discriminating wisdom, I should say, and as has been explained previously, saying until we develop a sense of pliancy, that we have only yet achieved what is known as an approximation of insight. And so then from analytical meditation, then from that power of when the power of analytical meditation induces such pliancy, then we have attained true insight. And once that, when we apply that insight is alike whether it is applied towards the focusing on the diversity of phenomena or on the true nature of phenomena.
냠바샤 춘일에 냠바샤시베 되네 아 춘일에 미베 신에 통데 아니 되네 르 수르지네 양 거서데 덴바 두바이나 야나 덴바 두베 찍은 거 야나 덴바 두베 타대인 거 그래 그거 두마인 거 그래 왔다 되네 다시 라서 봐 되네 그 제바체네 제바체제 왔는데 저 뒤제원도 아니 지금 라신 마주발에 내대베 신에디 누가 제다가 줘야 아니 신에 들라 되네 아니 대 한동대 아 부다가 용이야 왔다 되네 저 직도스 전은 다 들을 때는 시작이 되와 경화 좀 도와다 가지고 들었죠
So then how this works in terms of the union of meditative serenity and meditative insight. And so from in terms of looking at, say, for example, conventional phenomena or the diversity of phenomena as it says in the text, here we might have chosen to develop meditative serenity using the object of the body of the Buddha. And so here it's developing that attention, that focus of serenity until we have a really strong, powerful, intense, fixed meditation. And then we can, in a kind of a side part of the mind, like from one corner of the mind, we can, whilst maintaining focus, we can introduce the analytical element of our meditation, the insight element of our meditation, to distinguish between the Buddha's eye, the Buddha's nose, the Buddha's mouth, the Buddha's ushnish, and so on. That so this is the training in being able to maintain fixed focus whilst also engaged in this certain level of analysis, and this is all at the conventional level, so that the mode of meditation is observing conventional phenomena. So then when we turn our attention to looking at the true nature of reality, now we are asking specific questions of our insight as to how does this phenomena appear to be truly existent.
So bena sanje ku dagara ta kui ene rangsin la ro ta ku rangsin ge ma bala ta ka je bena tongni kui de ge chuni le ta kom ja ge na ta shene to ta de shene drum ne ene ta de je de ene de rangsin ge ta de sem she de sanje ge chuni la ta sanje ge de ge chuni so ta tong ba ni rangsin ge ma ba de sem sha shi me ngale sem ge su ja ji ge ne 아니 지금은 다 라싱을 좀나 야 고소다 간제제 야나 대바투베 지 야나 대바투베 두마진 거 그랬어 왔다데 되게 아 가서 지금 제바대 지기 제바대 지기 다 디제도 아니 딜라데네 아니 셴네디 부이타다 줘야 셴네 딜라데네 한동도 부이타 거치부지 도서 좋은데지 다 있는 거죠 셴네 톰면아 디제 제바지도 남절로 토투와 그 네두 말와
And so that's so in saying no, that's a kind of conventional union of a meditative serenity and meditative insight. So now we look at the same object of the Buddha's the statue of the Buddha and the Buddha's body, and establishing meditative serenity, at that level of perfect stabilization on the object. And then one introduces now the insight element to at the side part of the mind, or a corner part of the mind. And here the impetus is looking at the true nature of reality. So we're no longer examining just conventional aspects of the object, but looking into the actual status, the existential status of the body of the Buddha. And so here, again, now one has the mental serenity undiminished, not scattered in any way, and one is able to, so that's focused on emptiness. And so now we're also using then the side part of the mind as the analytical side or the insight side to question the status of that body of the Buddha, its apparent true existence or objective existence, how it might be as a kind of a truly existent one with its parts or different from its parts, etc., etc. Going into that sort of analysis to establish that it can't exist, truly can't exist objectively, and it must arise independence, etc. So it's this is the kind of modus operandi for entering into a meditation on emptiness using that object. And it's clear that without developing meditative serenity at the outset, that this is going to be a very much compromised way of meditating, because as soon as you enter into the analysis, then the object is scattered, isn't it? We're into distraction almost immediately. And so it goes without saying that we have to maintain the clarity and the intensity through meditative serenity on what we're analyzing, even as we're analyzing. Now, this is what's referred to as pliancy in what was just being described, that there is a mutually supportive element to both the serenity and the insight, that one, as it were, feeds the other in that, when they are fully established like that.
mikba kari shona khora jokom wa ta shene di mikba kari mana dila ana kasada ta kasada rota seja tangcha de so ngata de ba yoba chena seja ta tangcha de de ngata de ba yoba jingo gi gyumba go ba chena ba seja tangcha ngata de ba chi yoba chena and di lo su jingne ani ko jeba che jong de do ta de za ko hang dong se de shene le ha ba tu go yoba zwa wa hang dong se ha ba se ta 마스고래 신의 딜에 하같이 통구요 봐야지 한통 쓰기요 받아 장 조다가
And so then we have the mental serenity. So the mind now is kind of like stabilization, meditation, with that with a nod to a checking process, using our mindfulness and introspection to continue subtly for any subtle excitement or mental sinking and so on. And to the side, we have the insight. The actual name for this in Tibetan is Hlaktong, and it has been translated as special insight. But Gela is explaining this first syllable Hlak as it's like extra. So it's kind of, you have your meditative serenity, and then like as an extra skill now you have this analytical element coming in, and is able to engage in an analysis on the true nature of reality without losing any intensity of clarity of focus, because that's the job of mental serenity. So that's another take or on Hlaktong, special insight or insight.
베베게 남주가 책도 빼버려도 와 책도 다 락동스도 거 신의 이유가 시샤지 거 들려나 도마스.
Yeah. And they're saying the words, the choice of words in from the original into the Tibetan has been done really well in terms of issues like this, where you can really understand the kind of like the function of insight through that syllable, the hlak, through the kind of extra. This is like and also kind of you're doing that analysis even though you have the meditative serenity.
다 실라 데니 순도 제외 춘에서 다 실라니 마토나 순도 제주 묘에서 다 니가 마토 순도 제주 묘에서 순대와라네 데니가 네바 톱거서서.
So the next outline, how to unite serenity and insight, and that here it's saying that if you don't have mental serenity and insight, then there is no unity anyway. Can I say? Forget about it. You don't have anything. So therefore, it's really saying, in order to have the unity, you definitely need to attain both meditative serenity and insight.
Nam Lando Tobe, Tomania, Sunja Toba, Jurosata, Lando Toba, Sunja Toba, Lando Matobe, Moto, Jogomda, Jegom Jawa, Soso Gongo, Bala, their Tomniani, Soso Tobe, Jegom Java, Nigi, Sinet, Nuba, Sundu Java.
So it happens like this, is saying that initially, at first, through the attainment of insight, this extra insight, that at first then one attains this union. We can establish this union, and but before one attains that special insight or extra insight, then one establishes the stabilization meditation and the analytical meditation separately. And so once it is attained, then the discriminative wisdom of analytical meditation itself can induce meditative serenity. And this is referred to then as it is at that point that we have then established this union of meditative serenity and insight.
다 근데 인바인자 다 고 신이 된주네 저슈 실라가 봐 신나다 한동 밖에와 고 신이 된 람르기 고 신이 된주네 슈 아니 실라가 밖에 똑같게 다 깨고도 팀 로아다 실라가 봐 딱 이제 산지 고마 토발라 안 람르 바시들라 람르 바시들라 보고 여바 인자 다 가르고 그랬으나 때 고신이 된주네 슈 실라가 밖에
So then, because of the Lam Chi don't do it. So yeah, and then it has then a summary just there at that chapter 27. But it's a summary of the general points or the general stages of the path. Again, they're saying basically it starts with how to relate correctly to a spiritual teacher and goes all the way up to this point, the establishment of the union of meditative serenity and insight. And within that is all the subject matter necessary to be able to attain all the realizations necessary to attain enlightenment.
Today in Bazangazo, Kunjola Chuba Pugineta, Chibatangi in Bayineta, Kawak and to be in Bayine, Kawak and to be in Bayine, Takajaji, Kasoda, Sinila Magubane, Jenna Anitiga, and Chijilogeta, Tawa Tamje, and Watakaja, Sineta, Seneta, Handonki, Kivala, Patu Jugata, Namdo Yabatet, Shiwachi. Tawani Singi. 아니 저거 신일라 구반에 전에 아니 가서다 신라가 똑바탐제 귤게 받지 알아 다 된대고 용알라 에 시다 나다 상회 받제 탐제 아니 시와죠 맞다 되어 숨기 거네 도다 계시 못 숨기 거네다 치고 피해지 또 뭐좀 면제편에 다가 면제표현도 소화 때문에 도다 숨겨렸어 주주고 차야 수고 대단들의 기재 말이야. 된다 숨데 가려서나 신일라 마구바네 전에 아니 가서다 가자 신일라 마구바 신일라 딱 된다 치고 숨게 도네. 그러면 쓰고 싶죠. 된다 치고 숨게 도는 것도 면제 피고요. 그랬어. 된다 치고 숨 가려서나 다 된다 당고대 뭐도 다 두개 차들에 신일라 마구바네 전에 아니 다 가서 다니서 준비 딱 단지대 되지. 이스집에 밖에 닦아져 저거서도다 지금 쇼트발 봐도 주제 되게 탐제 시와치 다 돈다 니바데 다 신일의 구반에 전에 신라가 봐도 똑같아져 귤에 깨봤지 다 대대 깨봐 제발라 아니 치다 나다 상회 바제 탐자 아니 시와 제도 소스 내가 차와 제도 소스 와서 되게 뭐 숨기 거네다 치와 표현 면제 표현에 되게 뭐 숨기 거네 면제 표현
So that as saying like is often done in the studies of the Lam Rim and indeed others for that matter, when one makes a mandala offering, one makes it for what are known as the three great purposes, and that here it is on the one hand to be able to purify and pacify all the obstacles to the path created through our showing disrespect to our spiritual teacher, right from that up to holding on to the grasping onto the view of the perishable aggregates, or the view of the self, true existence of a self, etc. That's one, and the second then is to be able to make it the purpose of being able to accumulate all positive virtue from showing respect to our spiritual teacher up to the attainment of meditative serenity and insight. And the third great purpose is that all the inner, outer and secret obstacles to our being able to attain these attainments are all pacified.
그렇죠. 그다음에 그래서 뒤견도는 삼로당 소소 개와 그래 주에는 개와대 주에대 디체도 지금 위에 삼사 제와 있나?
It would be good that in all of our practice, and indeed any time we're engaged in virtue, that we could actually dedicate our that virtue to these three purposes. It would be very good. Three great purposes.
다 람지 된 두안에서 된 두안에 다 람거 자와 신이 된 줄로 또 다 되게 차장게 안 자와대 아니 신이 된 줄로 투고 이면서 투에서 다셔제 다들이 가서 왔다 다셔제야.
And so then, this outline of the general, a brief summary of the general path, starting with really considering seriously the spiritual teacher and the relationship one has to the spiritual teacher as the root of the path.
다 반제 다 신이 된 줄도 당부 맞잖아 소소 되버려 대찬 비다고 대가 얘네 당부 지금 배나 추고 돈에 제와 지금은 추적고 뒤시 소로샤네 추적고 뒤시 소로샤 어떤데 제 아니 당부네 고적 신이 뒤시로 마셔라 야가 요래 아니 오늘 전에 소소가 지 가소래 오 다들라 지게 신이 그 뒤시 샤와 얘네 이게 대발 로사 말에 삼삼게 대발 로사 말에 이게 뒤께 동안에 이게 연대 통도사래 삼삼 왔다 되는데 제 된대 그 뒤주지 내봐 이나 아니 거 내줄로 와서 되봐 이나 뒤봐도 당분에 최슈제 건가를 신이 된거 어떤데 표제 맞지는 약이 유사래.
With regard to this whole topic of relying on a spiritual teacher, one must consider that carefully, of course, and with regard to prior to one relying on or dedicating oneself to a spiritual teacher, then what one does is one's own choice. But having relied or having taken a teacher to be one's own and to dedicate to their teaching, one must consider that very seriously, and that it's very good to be able to initially just see the teacher as a friend in the Dharma, something like that. That's fine, and that until we reach a point where we view the faults, the so-called faults of our spiritual teacher, as something that serves as a lesson to us and as something that increases our faith naturally, then better maybe not to rely on a spiritual teacher, because it's very important that we have such an unshakable faith in the teacher like that. Very, very important.
들어가서 깨라치 모르셔 민치 모르셔 남자 주줘야지 검시시도 와. 난 삼삼마저 제일 귀한 동안은 가당한 되기도 한 뭐예요, 거다.
And so, because it's, especially these days, there's a lot of famous teachers around, teachers with a big name and so on, and that people will, very much kind of like want to follow them, maybe more for that reason than for who they are, but also if they go in full-hearted like that at the beginning and then see that their teacher doesn't quite live up to the ideal that they have of them, and then they start criticizing, and so that's quite dangerous. And so it's better not to enter into the teachings of such a teacher from the outset.
어디 sabza 맞잖아. 가서 치게 롱발라 가서 캡라 야보 맞잖아. 미스달레 두고 말. 다 미방부 연구나 캡라 시고 치고. 캡라 제거도 그 연내 쪽으로 와. 걔들이 연구 말와.
And this is quite tricky in the West, because of the way of how we're so how advertisement is so necessary in everything, and that if you want some people to come to your teaching, then it seems necessary to make a very big advertisement. And of course, what are you going to put on such an advertisement? Is all the amazing, exaggerated qualities of our teacher. And so this is it's kind of like a catch-22 situation. If you don't have an advertisement, then nobody's going to come to your teachings. And so that, to be honest, we really have to do some kind of like proper preparation and research of our own, read the Buddhist texts, really gain an understanding of them and try to train ourselves from our own side. And then when it comes to taking on a teacher, do not see fame as one of the essential characteristics that your teacher must have, but rather what kind of qualities they exhibit in public and in private and so on. So as we have seen in the Mahayana texts, in the ornament of the ornament,
realization.
Arya Asanga, ornament of the sutras, he talks about 10 different qualities or characteristics that a teacher should have. And so, Kadampa Lamas speak of the very minimum 3 qualities that they must have. That one, they must consider others as more important than themselves. One, they must at least consider future lives more important than this one. And thirdly, they must have at least more good qualities than faults. But of course, that's the qualities of the teacher. We often forget that the disciple also has to have certain qualities. And so that's a non-sectarian is one aspect, that they also have the really clear discernment, being able to really know right from wrong. So yes, therefore, in terms of relying on a spiritual teacher, we must have develop faith in their good qualities. It's very, very important. But it's not important to kind of completely rush in to have a kind of a spiritual relationship with a teacher. That is really not necessary. One should really be cautious and use one's own discriminating wisdom with regard to this. On the other hand, if you're going to take an empowerment from a teacher, then you have no choice. You have to thereafter rely on them, see them as your teacher. So again, caution is advised. And above all, we should not be drawn to teachers, as they say in Tibetan, like a dog to a piece of meat, who just rushes and gobbles it up. This is not the right attitude. And but in the West, when you see these kind of advertisements for coming teachers, you see all kinds of various and nefarious qualities on them. So you read some of them and you think they're kind of like they seem to be posing as if they were equal with His Holiness the Dalai Lama or something.
No, sent Holiness.
Oh, like sent by His Holiness.
Yeah. Yeah, why it isn't telling I don't know. Because the kept to go ahead and do it. The other so I know. What the
yeah, so this kind of thing, like where they seem to kind of like want to immediately highlight their connection to His Holiness the Dalai Lama, if I put it that way, and that certainly from His Holiness' point of view, he wouldn't be authorizing this in any way. Not necessary, completely unnecessary. Certainly His Holiness might be even embarrassed that this would be on an advertisement. So one has to question then why this teacher chooses to use this method to advertise him or herself. That what's their motivation really.
Never go. Because the share will share, and so share you what to share, and the arm the tongue so tongue was on love going to.
So if you're here to teach, just teach. And there's no need to say that you were or weren't sent by His Holiness the Dalai Lama. The value is in what you're going to be teaching. No, not necessarily. Visa, right? It's only us getting a visa. So you see some of this in advertisements in Western countries, I say.
다 가이나 만에 개치슈데 신이 땡산에 안 대바 말로 같이 개치 모래 대바 말로 같이 개치 거 마대 방을 소설 나와라 땡산도 안에 거 대바 말로 야 신이 때문에 임에서 신이 때 가리 제바 가리 나와 있는 년고에 들이 개자 말이야 최 많이 봐 말로 도와줘 최다 뭐도 받이 시작부터 년고에 요 말이야 뒤에 하고 받지 그래 와
So the most important thing is in relation to relying on a spiritual teacher, that after you have made the decision to rely on that spiritual teacher, that you do not give up that reliance. You do not renege on that. It's so important. Now, does that mean that therefore you must listen and follow everything that the teacher says? No. That if they are talking in relation to that which is in harmony with the Dharma, of course, you follow that. But if you ascertain that what they are trying to teach is not in harmony with the Dharma, then you don't have to follow that.
Yeah, the Gumzela Danayam, Magubachieta, and to Condosayeta, and the Kunju, what they are Rungumari. What's the matter? But they all that Gumzation, but you could have saw it, Chodan Tungumu, that Gumzation, but you could have saw what the legend considered Shashana.
But if you have ascertained that for yourself, that they are teaching stuff that is not in harmony with the Dharma, then there is no necessity to have disrespect or anger towards the teacher because of that. You just simply conclude that maybe they have other reasons for saying that are I'm not privy to, so I'm not going to follow that. That's okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
one has to use one's own intelligence in this regard, one's own reasoning.
갈간서 여러 무엇이 받아서 안질 라마질 때 차비 다 라마들 교연들이 통고로 다 가르치고 대화기는 것은 들 제가 망고 이거도 다 라마가 노트 요그래 나 제가 소소를 노트도 가 가서 소소게 다 로마 체지 탄거 요 바로
So and I say this because unfortunately I've had many experiences of people coming to me and very sad talking about how they have taken somebody to be a teacher, but then they saw faults in that teacher, and now they're completely confused about what to do. And maybe yes, there is fault in the teacher, but one must also see what fault was in myself. What was my fault? Maybe I wasn't a fully qualified disciple to begin with. So we have some fault in that.
배나 뭐저 초심 소수 콤바이나 초심 콤 디지오모도 아니 라마라 접수 라메 유데디가 된 아니 라마 디자나 송주 디슈 라마 디자나 송주 디슈 다들 편도 친구 시고 문제다네 시 아니 그 저기 와들지 유데디도 된전 아니 라마 디가 답변을 구유도 수구유도 투구유도 칠레가 유데라서 봐 유데디 저테 어떻게 되잖아 라마죠 아니 라메 콜레 두제 중에 두제에서 다 가고 좀 아니 저 토마면 뒷바다 키아바도 라마라 때문에 뒷바 근데 중앙이네 다 라면 아니 수중자 투두 라소베다 라마를 예매 마와 다 교주자 라소베 뒷바 근데 나니 된쳐 sabsache 어디래지 아니 라메게 아니 가서도 나 왜세세부터 라메 구순도 지라 말을 받아 존다 라메 사람 산재 고마마도 어디 제수 송송 서서 어디래 그 사람 땅돈에 야구요 가지고 다 가자
So then in relation to sort of maintaining that practice of relying purely, I suppose, on your spiritual teacher, one can engage in the kind of descending nectar light meditations in the context of the merit field. So when we visualize the merit field, we have our root and lineage lamas there in the merit field, and we start by remembering all the good qualities of our teachers, all the teachings that they have given, how beneficial they were, how wonderful they are, and thinking of the qualities of our guru's body, speech and mind. And this then invokes this nectar light, the 5-colored nectar lights coming from the heart of our guru, with the white nectar predominant in the beginning and descending through our crowns and purifying all negativities that we have accumulated since beginningless time, and in particular any negativities we have accrued in relation to our gurus, in relation to our teachers, such as showing disrespect or being critical of them unfairly and so on. So all of that we feel is completely purified. And then bringing forth the 5 nectar lights again with the gold and yellow light predominant, and entering into our crowns through our body and mind system with all the blessings of our gurus, the blessings of our gurus' body, speech and mind, and so that we be able to really engage in this key practice of relying or relating perfectly to our spiritual teacher from now on.
당연히 이제 돼서 소소가 대화 치슈를 남아 집변에 자원을 붙였다고 쳐. 소소가 대화 치슈를 남아 찍자. 아니 되네. 소소다 최던 것도 라마 먹고 여봐이나. 아니 다 라마 샤바트 간가. 아니 디 아니 주바소로치. 와 주바소로치. 다디 돌에 아니 다 나를 최디나이치도 아니 자원을 붙이 뒤뒤는 나서. 아 최디나이치도 자원을 붙이 뒤뒤는 나서. 어디 되게 제바이나. 답대 버리지.
Another technique is to take the teacher, the Lama in whom you have the greatest faith. Say His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and so when you are at other teachings with other teachers, you can see them as like emanations of His Holiness there on the throne, and that they are giving teachings as if His Holiness would give them. And so this is a very good way of maintaining like that pure vision with regard to your teacher. And so as ordinary beings, of course, we do have this problem of, how do you say, varying levels of trust and faith in our different teachers, isn't it? It does. And so when we kind of like how do you say, get higher up on the path, we'll have no such problems, because we see Buddha, the teacher, as the Buddha, and indeed in terms of the tantric perspective, all sentient beings are enlightened beings. No problem then. So again, another mutually exclusive thing. Genla says in the West you have the two ideas that on the one hand Westerners have a real problem, it seems, with being able to see the teacher as a Buddha, but they love going to empowerments, So these two things are mutually exclusive. So when you take an initiation, an empowerment, you have to see all sentient beings as enlightened beings. So no need to speak that you have to see your guru as a Buddha. So that's it's kind of like contradictory, isn't it? That idea that you have difficulty, but we love trotting along to empowerments.
Special color checker.
So I never get to the end if I
간델 하자지 돼 아니 되게 제대로 믹스 맞도사 아니 되네 되제제 아니 가서 연대시 좀 하지 돼 연대시 좀 하지 돼 근데 막 아니 저기 다 라면 초신 즉 셋업 아니 샤콤 제전다 가자 신이 대주네 제네 신이 대주 아니 뒤지 밥자도 제 아니 다가는 시에 가서 대주니까 좋아 대주니까 다 가자 가서 대나사 대화를 님을 낸도 주마만 임받게 다 그러다 아니 대조기 rata yunde de stage and tanji and denjo yunde de den denjo de ta thola mata ni bulle de and samata and juma ma imba kena de gyudu tubala nane kuwa de kebe chirto and denjo ko nam kopcha denjo ko tigata samata mures ro and dene ta denjo tobale de ne gyurbu de yoma dene sede and ta sede dondu niwe Lona Malona, because it's city to the new Loma Malona, Chide Chimala, to the Japo Mijuma Inza, and a little bit into Mitabako.
So, in short, this is really doing a basic review of the subject matter of the stages of the path to enlightenment, and in that regard, it's an excellent kind of practice to do when we are doing our practice in the context of, for example, doing the hundreds of deities of the land of joy practice to begin with after our refuge. and then reciting the Migmate Sewe several times, and then generating the merit field, and on the basis of the merit field, going through the foundation of good qualities prayer, which is a glance meditation on all the subject matter of the graduated path to enlightenment. And we can do that in the context, with the merit field, and going through the different topics, and then invoking the descending nectar light coming from the merit field to purify on the one hand and then bless us on the other, as we want to establish these the essence of these subjects as realizations in our mind stream. And so this would start, as Genla has pointed out, with the root of the path being within.
람존 남성 지도 대외도 님불리시 부스는 왔다 대조 님불리시 부스 타마데 치 왔다 대레체데 아니 디제데 람자 가서데 예대시지 마시죠 아니 저 람 착장지는 시작은 좀 와.
So again, let's just making a little alteration there. So we do the refuge, we do the hundreds of deities of the land of joy, and then the Migmate Sewe several times, and then immediately after that, the three principal paths. Again, Lam Tsongkhap's prayer, especially because it leads out that last line. So then, as it says, now my child, please work hard, strive to take the essence of leisure and opportunity, and that then leads into the foundation of good qualities. So you're taking all the, starting with that, then so it fits very nicely in there, and beginning with then the considering seriously the practice of how to relate correctly to a spiritual teacher as the root of the path, and on the basis of that then to be able to take the essence of our leisure, and to be able to develop that in a non-contrived way, and to continuously allow that to kind of inspire us. We need to meditate on those topics of leisure and opportunity related to a precious human rebirth. And then so that and to put a stop to the mind or the mental attitude of really just concentrating and striving for the things and the affairs of this life, and being able to more diligently put the stress on our efforts for future lives, and that and in order to do that as well, we know that to remind ourselves again and again that this body that we have attained will not remain long, and that it is impermanent, and that that's something that we must meditate on. And so yes, when it comes to meditating on impermanence and impermanence in the form of death, we know that death is definite, that the time of death is indefinite, that at the time of death only our spiritual practice will be of any good to us. And from death, we need to meditate on the real possibility of ending up wandering in the lower realms, and that we should not be in any presumptuous about that, or assume that we won't end up in such a state, because we have so many negativities on our mind stream, not only accumulated in this life but from countless previous lives as well. And so that must be viewed as a possibility unless we really do something about it, and that and that then informs us with a certain sort of healthy fear, kind of a fear of ending up in such a problematic situation as a hell being, as a hungry spirit, as an animal, and that and from that, then we take faith, or we generate faith in the triple gem, and that we have this kind of genuine awareness, recalling the good qualities of the triple gem, and from the depths of our hearts we take the common vows of refuge, and along with that remain constant in those vows, and also follow what is advised in the refuge precepts.
단다 맞아 용다 미게 주고 수좀 쓰고도 한 다가는 생겨 다다다 오마린제 고볼도 그저 오마린제 처에 나라라 안 뭔도 주 주주 쓰고도 다 미게 주제 미게 주 간들라 아니 가서래 다가자 아니 저거 세와 미제 봐 아니 록소 맞지 봐 소와 록소 맞지 봐 다가지 창마 동화 자 다가는 신 아니 집이네 아니 구배 집에 구바 구샵부터 집어지. 와, 가서 통중제 어디 교물에서 통중만 구샵부터 집어지. 안 다간 이제 최유를 쳐봐. 답변은 저기 상계도 최배긴도 최배유. 안 다간 이제 소속이 파마라서 봐. 그렇다? 아니 개개라서 봐. 다가제 지금 소 어디게래? 아니 최배유도 들래. 아니 구배 쳐봐지. 아니 잡아고미. 왔다가제 뭐도 주주수도 와.
담보 주디 아니 현탁 때 록소 데 ngo나 데 직도 간나 그래서 데
록소 록소
말이
차와 미지 봐 세와 너바 마게 봐 너바 마게 봐 차와 마지 봐
And so with regard to refuge, then what's implicit in taking refuge and in following the refuge precepts is also abiding in the ethics of refraining from the 10 non-virtues. And then, as mentioned there, as Arya Nagarjuna in the dual ornament of realization. In that he mentions not just on top of the 10 non-virtues that should be avoided, there are extras that he includes there. And the first of those is that one must abandon harm in general. And this is causing any harm, causing conflict is included there. And also Loksoa is a non-virtuous livelihoods, not engaging in any non-virtuous ways of making a living, consuming alcohol, drugs, etc. And then, and also, there's an exhortation there too, not just when one is being generous. One must be very careful of the mindset. One must actually show great respect when being generous, to avoid any sense that one is looking down on the one to whom one is giving. And one, in terms of honoring the triple gem, that's a given, but also he delineates the objects of Dharma, meaning one's parents and one's regular teachers, and that they must also be shown great respect. And a general exhortation to live a life with love. And I think that when we live a life within the ethical conduct of refraining from the 10 non-virtues, and add these, some of which are prescribed and some are proscribed activities as well, then we will be able to take the essence of our leisure and our opportunity. in this precious human life.
Then Kajo Tamjeg Sichabu and Letela Ichiba Deva. Gotumane Keva, Kila, and Kevache, Kevatene, Debut near Topchena, Debachetas, and gave me get 2 years at Judo, Takavata Mikawa 2 years, and Judo Manovachena, Beijing. And the Kadis Tibasawa and Topchik on the Shakam Chia. Lam Rim Super Charge, what are the Gundu, what are the Geneta, Mizin and Catch shoots it, what are the Chippers? Then a Coachida Chataki, Mimi, Mango, Samotane, and a Coachida, lot of Machaburas.
So, and then following refuge, then we we generate by reflecting in many different ways to cultivate a faith of conviction in the law of cause and effect, and to see this as the great basis of all positive dharma, and that's something that's really profoundly important. And therefore, when we develop that conviction, we should do everything we can to make it firm in our minds, and a long way towards this is, as has been pointed out, to abandon the 10 non-virtues, and to take up their opposites, the 10 virtues, as key practice for ourselves, and to continuously refer to the path of the 4 opponent powers of purification in our mind. That this is something that's to be considered very, very important. And that from this then we consider both the general and the specific faults of cyclic existence, and that we bring a great deal of familiarity regarding those faults to our mind by reflecting on them again and again and again, in order to in general turn away from a cyclic existence and what it stands for as much as we can.
다 대긴 것도 잠들들라 기부 충분히 잠들어서 냥송 그 동네에 직 텔레교변 누가 구조소로 유배했죠. 다 되네 가지고 다 냥송 직발에 다 타에게 등지 중앙이나 다 가지고 그래서나 다 기부 등다 타바지 마tom다 지금 말해서 다 뒤에서 냥송 그 동네자 맞아 허회 동네에 직시자니. 아니 텔레 타베 아니 타와 돈네 텔레교변 누가 되는 산제 주기도 유배 이치면
and so this also here in our reflection on the faults of general and specific of cyclic existence, we extend the concept of refuge, because initially when we have gone for refuge, we have gone for refuge out of fear of the sufferings of the lower realms, and faith in the fact that the triple gem of Buddha, Dharma and Sangha have the ability to protect me from such a disastrous fear. This is the motivation of the person of smaller capacity. As you see now, when one starts to contemplate the broader perspective of all the faults, the general and specific of cyclic existence, that refuge now is also broader, so that we go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma and Sangha out of fear of the terrible sufferings of cyclic existence in general and in specific, and faith and trust that the Triple Gem have the power to keep us out of that. And so our new motivation is to seek liberation from cyclic existence altogether. And so that then brings us to the reflection on and contemplation of the 4 Arya truths. And so again, I said that's where Buddhism really begins. And so, like, all other traditions also want to avoid their lower realms, isn't it? Their hells and so on. And so, like, when it comes to liberation from this suffering reality altogether, that really is the exclusive claim of Buddhism. We don't see such a presentation in other traditions. They might use the word, the term freedom or liberation, but there is no path to back that up. So, and this is from this point we can see where Buddhism diverges from these other traditions, but also what makes it unique in that respect. In terms of the smaller capacity being, there's a lot of similarity between what is asked of the practitioner there and in other traditions as well. So we say that the smaller capacity being presentation is a path in common with other traditions, whereas when we get to the path for the medium capacity being, it becomes more of an exclusive Buddhist path. And so yes, and maybe to that subject matter of like leisure and opportunity in relation to precious human rebirth might show up some differences between Buddhism and what's presented in other traditions as well. So on the basis of our reflecting on the faults of cyclic existence and turning away from that as much as we can, cyclic existence, and that then we also, in terms of the four Arya truths, start to identify the causes that lead to cyclic existence, namely karma and the mental afflictions, and that identifying the real nature of karma and those mental afflictions, and then developing the wish to really overcome and abandon our life dictated by that, and to gain that sort of ascertainment as genuinely as possible. And so then in terms of the path of liberation in general, we have to gain this really powerful conviction in the three trainings. And here again, is pointing out, we know they are ethics, meditative stabilization or concentration, and wisdom, but we look at it from the point of view wisdom is the goal. In terms of generating wisdom, it must rely on meditative stabilization, but to establish meditative stabilization, we must have a pure ethical conduct. And so again, it comes back to the practice of ethical conduct, again, as kind of a basis on which we can build meditative concentration and subsequently wisdom. And so with regard to that, then in supporting the three higher trainings and perfecting them, we are supported by all the vows of the individual liberation vehicle that we have taken on, and that's very important.
What are the day never color consume near Satu? Any the Neranga Lamla Mashuba Chenata? Lamla Mashuti, never near the Kappa body. And it's a rank away to Mel Museum and just suggest Shataya Tamja, orta koe dunge di nachu samlo tane ane rangten la samlo tane ngenjong da shende la samlo tane ningji cha duwa
And so then following, like when we refine these meditations and reflections, we can gain a very precise and comprehensive understanding of our own suffering in relation to cyclic existence. And so this is akin to what impels the hearer vehicle practitioners and the solitary realizer vehicle practitioners in their practice. But we move a step further than that to kind of again self-reflect on such understanding, to say that if such suffering in cyclic existence has this profound impact on me, I must acknowledge that it has similar suffering impact on all other sentient beings as well. And so then this and from this self-reflecting renunciation, we induce the compassion that now starts to focus on the suffering of all other sentient beings.
다디 잠도데 택택 도움만 배 잠도데 다 규도스 민다 용거래 다 가서 년송거 동에 잠마세 코웨 동에 대잠마세 시달은 내바데 동에 지네 시달은 내바데야 집받지 대 시외 다른 데는 심지어 돈 주고 말와 시외 다 시달은 대 교도 대지네 안 딜레 지네 딜레 교베 뉴바티 아니 상계 최기들이 왜 이집에 이치.
And so then we see now once again, how the concept of refuge is further broadened to take in the Mahayana perspective, and then as such it becomes the extraordinary motivation of the Mahayana. So here the practitioner is not only impelled by the fear of the lower realms, not only compelled by the fear of cyclic existence in general, but also has this apprehension of being caught in what's called the extreme of peace, the peace of nirvana, of kind of being stuck in that. And so here one goes for refuge out of that more extensive sense of apprehension and anxiety, and one has faith and trust in the Triple Gem to be able to lead us out of such anxieties.
what
And so this is the reflection behind what is known as the Mahayana refuge.
Then Rani Sizol Hunga Chizo, Rani Sizol on the Major, then the Tona Jordan, Janjo Central to Majiji Loves, what Lama Chubana Yuvan. Then Rani Sizol Hunga, Jindawa, Deshendo, Mananja, Jandawa, Songa, Yila Jetta, that to get the Yila Yan Yanto Chen and Jabako, Jabata, and Ninja Zawache, Janjuga, Sim Java. Then the Chigel, what they can't do, get better children. Then I guess I got Thomas soon as that, guess I got that. The Muslim, the Juxem, the Lene, so that Randy Minja, Pageant to that, Shinju Mibachi, to Lava Chapu,
So then we must consider, again, like has been said, just like I have fallen into the ocean of cyclic existence, that's suffering, so have all kind mother sentient beings. And so I must do something about that. And so we do our best to develop the mind of enlightenment and work hard in whatever way we can to cultivate that mind of enlightenment, and the root of which is loving kindness and compassion. And so once we have generated that mind, then we take on the vows related to the children of the conquerors, the bodhisattva vows, and practice the six perfections as a means of ripening our own mind streams, and the 4 ways of accumulating disciples as a means of ripening the mind streams of others.
다 되네 다 what is 장바제나 다 what is 다 그 파제 택배 루가 지금 가서도 다 냠내 지다가 좀치 차장소를 차대기도 와 what 차장 차서도 what
And so this is basically a summary of what's known as the perfection vehicle, all the subject matter there.
what 차장소 차대도 what 되는지 다 되네 다 딜라 이제 가서 장바 주네 다 장바 주네 다 가지 제주 2Sep17 그 되는다 다 제주 가서 3주 다 제주 건가 17 그 되면도 매버지 다 가지 산제 고마 주네 산제 고마 주에 미유대 17을 펴봐 주에 저도 제원도 다 가지 와다 아니 자주가 쌤다 양답에 따와니 다 냠소 란 와다 되는지 얘네야 다 파진 택배 로라 지고서 깨봐 먹고 거기 여봐 인자 와다 나랑 코알아 지금 내내 드레스 대바이네 마소야 개문도 돼 샘쟁 동에 나올 수금도 깨지자서 때부터 뉴도 상계고도 스타 다 뉴도 상계고도 샘쟁 동에 예서도 뭐 된대게 다 지금 가서다 다 지금 자주가 샘 현다 미자와치 톱치 못 치고 되저도 아니 되나 다 상아 남래 지에 들려 버려 어떻게 네가 쳐봐 도저히 더 말랍주 있어
And so then one understands that from the point of view of the perfection vehicle, the objective is to attain the state of enlightenment, of Buddhahood, and that in both the result and in both the method for doing that is to benefit sentient beings. But also one understands that according to the texts related to the perfection vehicle, that can take many eons to do. And whereas that's, I don't mind having to work for that length of time in cyclic existence, but I can't bear that all other sentient beings have to wait for me that long, and they have to suffer as well. So one is developing now what is known as the extraordinary motivation of the Vajrayana or Mantrayana vehicle, and that here the objective is to gain the objective of enlightenment much more quickly, and this requires an especially powerful mind of enlightenment.
That is the 다 파진 택발라 류이 택바서 다들 제비 택바서 그 제불 남도 켄
And so whereas the perfection vehicle is also referred to as the causal path, and here the Vajrayana is referred to as the resultant path, because one endeavors to take the results onto the path.
이바 케바 도지 택발라 주나서 대다 동안 이게 투무 가서다 투무와 남라 로잖아다 동안 나래도 파지터모 모두 조고요다 투무 로장네 안에 상가라 주반에서 토마 민제죠 공규제 콩만에서다 셰바시게 규미바제 되네 대체 송에 담체다 동반남 년에서 셰바제라 안에 송고고래서 아니 내조 라메기 규라 담치 마송와다 온 담치 마송와다 온kur 메바다 되니 미셰바 숨제 줍자 시야가 마주바 송소 되네 담체다 동바 송와 되라 나기 람 공바 자와라 토말 개베 리바 하이 콜로 창와 규대 쿠만의 셰바시 어느 공고그래서 어느 방자디 탐에베 남도디 일라 다 방자군의 탐에 낭시도 가고요 와 랑하게 아니 그래서도 아니 지금 랑디다 지금 요제라 소바데 저다 간제 랑기 대사데 그저 하이 셰 간다 부도 보물라 소바디게 돼 아니 하이 남로 랑이 이당 남로 때 아니 잘라서 이당 그 생각 때자 다 간제 단단의 상계획에 나빠 차장이 삼았다 거든 다들 그래서 탐에게 낭시에 여와 있나 아니 나기 때문에 요구 다들 라메기다 방자 탐에게 낭시 남도디 이메 대방와 야 내강 내당 류당 롱주당 보다 안 자완남 개발진게 남바집에 길이 니 이메 대 고발라 배봐 되나 조베 좀 규대 쿵만에서 중앙남 공급바 내조 라나메베 남기 류 조바 류서 조베 좀 니게 내스바 저거다 길임다 조르니 내스바 저거랬어.
So then the final outline how to train specifically in the Vajrayana. So it's here is saying that the one trains from training in the common path related to sutra and tantra, and then one enters into the secret mantrayana path, and from the outset, one is as explained in the source tantra, one takes empowerment in order to ripen one's own mind, and at that time of taking such an empowerment, one takes on the pledges and the vows, both listening to them, understanding them, and then thereafter upholding those vows, this is very, very necessary. And then what it says from the highest yoga tantric texts, that if we do not uphold our pledges, if we have been taking part in an inferior empowerment, and if we have no understanding of reality, then no matter how much we practice, we will not achieve anything at all. And so here it's very, very important to maintain one's pledges and one's vows in relation to the path of mantra, and to familiarize with oneself, and this familiarize that path to oneself. And one begins with what is known as the generation stage, or the stage of generation, where one visualizes and maintains the complete deity mandala, as explained in the particular source tantra that you have taken, and the main object to be abandoned on the tantric path is known as the conception of ordinariness, or ordinary perception. And so this is very important, that we, having taken empowerment and entered into mandala and engaged in doing our tantric practice, we generate ourselves as a deity, we generate our place as the palace of a celestial enlightened being, and we recognize all other male and females as deities in our mandala, and all of our resources and actions, body, etc., are all to be seen as special, that they are all already pure and enlightened. And this is the main purpose of the generation stage, what we need to make effort at meditating on and familiarizing with. And that then we need to meditate on the completion stage, as in relation to what appears in the source tantras. And we must bear in mind that the vital points of the two stages of generation and completion stage, they contain the complete body of the path of highest yoga tantra. And so it says then, this completes the explanation, the brief explanation of the summary of the outlines of the great treatise of the stages of the path to enlightenment, related to the being of greater capacity, including all the essential key points. It is a clarifying lamp with regard to those, and in particular the final two perfections of meditative serenity and insight. And as well as that, then it has also dealt with the how to train specifically in the Vajrayana path. So that's it, complete that text.
Modern education ko charging ya hakwan ta ro ta ka da de ting wo zo sem yu duye che do ane je nyong me ba so che do ko yang se ne na ko hakwe ma ma ane de ne ba de so so che ba la jan ta nge che dan ka ri tu gu do tu mu do an che ba jan ane 미투바스는 그 좋아 당답지. 어떻게 된다 가자 소수 줘봐도 잘해. 제가 디 람림로 미심에 줘봐도 심지어는 어떤 노트가 요. 람림로 저 소수를 줘봐라. 근데 가서다 지금 제마체 어떻게 해치고 주죠. 나 비트도. 어다 진짜 어디 미디 디다 좀 지금 디디도 소소에 가서 파지 가서 제마체잖아. 아니 소소 쌤 되는 뇌 되는 와. 되는 말이야. 니 제마 가르치는지 먼저 하고 랑게 나와는 예와 매와 직전에 랑게 토하는 인기 말이 어떻게 하고 하면 좋아. 다 소소소소들 하고 그러와.
So, so that completes then this brief explanation on the outlines of the Lam Rim, the great treatise on the stages of the path. And so, what's most important for us is to be very wary of treating this as some sort of offering in the context of a modern education, where once the text is finished, then you put it away and that's it. But here, this is the beginning of what we should see is the beginning of what we have gained from this text. Whatever we have learned from this text, we must try to use it to pacify the mind and to prevent the mental afflictions from arising and to really deal with the mental afflictions more clearly and do that again and again and again. And that in that way, this is a specific job of self-reflection, of looking inward to check on our behavior and to ask the question, is what I am doing, is my behavior in harmony with what was in the teaching or not? And you should be able to clearly see whether it is or not and make the correct adjustments where necessary. It is not a text whereby now we have the right to point a finger and expose everybody else's faults and to look outward, and that that's not a good option. That this is really about the inner world, our inner reflection, and how we're adjusting our own behavior to make sure that it is in harmony with what we have learned. Besides, judging other people is a very inaccurate kind of practice. We don't know for sure what people's motivations are for what they do, and so best to stick with what we do know, which is really what's going on inside our own conscience.
대샤 담아도 되게 와대 아니 저 가서 다 이제 선제 탐정으로 산제 공부 돌려야 다가는 시기에 아니 저 람림나 람림에 산제 수라 탐제 아니 배 유샤가서 무슨 내셔서 진짜 아니 디 아니 딜라데네 아니 산제 수라 탐제 거지 셰투에 아니 딜라데네 아니 디 냠서 낸투에 이제는 선제 탐제가 돼 아니 가서 저 배매도 죽지 어디는 뭐 같이 당시에 안 당시에 저 대제 기분 가원 저쪽에 대제 기분 그제 유럽에 저 당한지 잡으려는 욕다 충분히 침자는 쳐서 예거고 녀들 괜찮 쪽에는 지회라는 가지고 요에 아니 말아줘 감각이라 저 가서 촉시가 또 봐야 하고 자주 돼서 어떤 거 같이 됐어.
So we dedicate whatever virtue that we have accumulated from listening to all of these teachings, and to really gain some sort of a little extra understanding of how special this presentation of the graduated path to enlightenment is, how it is in which all the teachings of the Buddha are subsumed, and it really is the kind of essence of all the teachings, and that we generate the virtue, this virtue, so that we may come to know the graduated path like this, and to be able to practice it perfectly also, and that especially to be able to gain the clear realization that our purpose is to make every effort in order to fulfill the wishes of others, that we may be able to, on the basis of our learning of the graduated path, be more efficient in doing that, that we also dedicate all our virtue for the long life of His Holiness and all other genuine spiritual teachers, and may all their holy wishes be fulfilled. We dedicate it also for the eradication of conflict, be it domestic or regional or international conflicts, that these issues may be resolved through peaceful dialogue and mutual respect. We also dedicate that people will gain a sense of satisfaction with what they have, not be striving for more and more and more, which is the principal cause of such environmental destruction and degradation. And of course we dedicate for appropriate weather and rainfall and so on as well. So maybe we recite the Lam Rim prayer.
Maybe it's Tibetan, okay? We are together.
Tibetan?
You are Tibetan, no problem.
Lam Rim Mungla.
never chin about Nudo Nella, Joy Nenema Leba, Tado Joa, never shot, Nagachi, never, Joachi, Nejo, Tesedan, Nejo, Joy Dungan, Sewa, Shaw, Pama Simjeta, Deda, Dejo, Nejo Tamja, Tado, Chanjo Samba, Kana Susho, Deda, Kunde Mola. 조교로 제 ramdendula 나야 말에 현재 바체 들어라 좀바다 제당무시 마치 서바서 현재 제베 개남 상월에 쇼 도나 공부 제레서 완제 세제제베 정말 간제 요소 자체 말라 자산데도 뉴도 차와서 남도 중요서면 조조 투제도다 렌델로 메든 데메 멀어 게면 뉴도 쇼 개와군도 양다 라마다 데메 최제 별로 사다람지 도제 찬제 공부 뉴도 쇼 니몬델레 천델레 니메 고연 니자다도 델레 구조 숨제 다시 쇼 도바지데 칸도 좀바다 도바니 외신도 세워 데제 프로신도 도바 요렌데 다시 쇼 자주 라마나데 다시 이단 하조나데 다시 쇼 마다 칸도나데 최조 수만나데 다시 쇼
Master of flawless wisdom, as well as Vajrapani, destroyer of all the demons without exception. Some carpet crown jewels, save the land of science. Blessings up at your feet, I make requests.